Hi ladies, I love this hope box. So here is my hope box all decorated, and this box was created by Shelly, who is the originator of Stampin' Up. So her daughter now is the one who is the CEO, but just kind of interesting. Okay, so here is how I decorated my belly band, and you can do yours any way you want. The directions are really clear in the box, but I wanted to share with you some of my alternatives that we are not making. I combined this box with the Textures free $50 with a $50 purchase stamp set, and so I made all these fun textures on the cards, and then I created my own cards by using my own bases. I made tons of those. Another option that I did is I used the remaining bases that I had, and I took the two pieces of designer series paper in the kit and stamped on them, added some flowers or some butterflies. These butterflies are from the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set. This is the butterfly from the kit, and I think they just turned out really cute. So basically one set of this cardstock and this cardstock glued together, I would cut it in half, and so I was able to make two cards out of each set. And then of course I decorated my envelopes. So just to show you, there's lots of ways to quickly decorate your envelopes. Let's see, I think I did this one with some of the splatter from Stampin' Blends, and then I stamped the hope on the back. Turned out cute. I did them all the same. So I have a box of hope all ready to go for somebody, or I will use them because, gosh, we all need a little bit of hope and faith in these times. So just love how this turned out. But today we're going to turn our attention to the alternatives that I provided for you. This is the first card, and it is using the what is this? Rich Raspberry paper that I gave you. I cut 3 or 4 sheets of paper that you're going to just notch the ends to make them in the back. It's basically recreating the card that was in the kit, but I thought it was so cute. I used the Artistry Blooms paper to cut these out. You also have, you need a circle from your kit. You have a small piece of paper that I've given you, and then a larger piece. So let's just really quickly look at, oh, and you need a butterfly from the kit. So let's quickly go through how I made this card. So the first thing you're going to do is, you'll notice you've got two of each, but if you turn one around from each of them, then you have 4 different kinds of DSP, and that's what we're using today for the 4 different patterns on the front of the card. And the way I got these notches, just real quickly, I took my scissors and I cut up, just made a little cut right down up the middle, and then I cut from one end and from the other end to that point, and there you have it. So just quickly again, I cut down, and then I cut an angle from one end to that point, and one end to that point, and there you have your ends. So you do that 4 times, and then you're going to glue them on your base. And what I started with first were the two, I did one on the left hand side, and I glued one in towards the middle so that there was like an even gap right here. And then I bumped these up on dimensionals. So this one was bumped up on dimensionals on this side, this one dimensionals on that side. So that's how you do that card. It's really simple. I took my rich raspberry, or maybe it's Blackberry Bliss. I guess that's what it is. It's Blackberry Bliss, and I stamped the Just a Note of Hope. I actually put a glue dot or a dimensional in between these two bumped up pieces right here, and then put a little bit of glue on the edges so it would lay flat in the middle right there. Then I added the rhinestones or the sequins, and I bumped up the butterfly. On the inside, I took my Stampin' Spot, and I really just literally took the lid off, and I just swooshed it right across the bottom, and I stamped a butterfly over the top with the Blackberry Bliss. So that's how you have the card. So you open it like this, like this. I did this on its side because it was just easier. You could do it straight down or straight up and do your butterfly. So that's card number 1. On to card number 2. Card number 2 is using one of the card bases that is actually in the card. In your kit, you're actually going to use 2 card bases. So you're going to use one of the Coastal Cabana, and you're going to use one of the pink card bases, and you're going to make 2 cards at once. So what I did is I gave you the piece here, and you can use your rich raspberry, Blackberry Bliss to stamp happy birthday or get well or hope or whatever you would like. I did not use the stamp from the stamp set for this. I used a separate stamp set. And I created 2 cards out of one using this single piece right here, and I used my scissors and eyeballed it and just cut it in half. I would say do not use your trimmer. It doesn't work. These are too fine pieces. Trust me, I tried it and made a mess. So you're going to want to just snip it with your scissors, cut it in half. 1/2 is going to go on this card. 1/2 is going to go on the pink card. So you're going to glue them flat onto the pieces, onto the cardstock. And remember Karen mentioned that sticky specs with us. That was really easy. I just laid these intricate pieces on there, lifted it up, and it had sticky on the back. But you can easily use your glue and just dot it, or you can put a little bit of smear of glue on one of your silicone mats and blot it right on there, but you want to glue those flat onto the card base. Then you're simply going to stamp your sentiment and bump it up on dimensionals, add your ribbon, and add a butterfly. It's a very simple card, but cute and effective. For the inside of the card, I actually took the butterfly that's in the kit and I put it in the petal pink, and then I just kissed the edges with the Blackberry Bliss. So then I stamped it off, and then using a Stampin' Blends marker, I think you can see this, it's a little technique. Let me grab one and show you real quickly. Oh, don't worry about it. But anyway, you take your Stampin' Blend, you open it up, and you tap it like this, and little ink spots will come, and so will form. And so that's a fun way to create a background real quickly. So I did the same on both of the cards. So petal pink, and then just kissed the edges a bit in the Blackberry Bliss, and then I did the splatters. So those are the two cards that I created for card number 2. And let's see here. I don't want to get everything all mixed up because we're going to make these physically in our class next week. So the next card we're going to make is actually a gift card. It could be a gift card. And you're going to use the white card base that I gave you, and it's already scored. So the front will be shorter than the bottom and the back, and you're going to need 2 pieces of the banners or the labels that they gave you in the kit. So for this, all you're going to simply do is put a little bit of glue on either side of this flap and fold it down, and it makes a pocket. That pocket then can hold a Starbucks card or another little secret note or whatever you would like. Or you can glue it down flat and not even worry about it, but it just gives you an option for a gift. So I glued one of the label pieces on that front piece and one on the bottom. Then when you open it up, I added a couple of little butterflies in there. And for the stamping, I actually, before I glued this, I stamped. So I was a little bit out of order, and what I did is I took the colors that were inside of these labels and I used them. So I used the pink and the Bumblebee, I think this is called, what, Magenta Madness? Bumblebee and Poppy Parade. They're listed on the back of your kit instructions, and then I used the Rich Razzle or the Blackberry Bliss to kind of fill in the spots. Then I glued the edges. So that's the way you make that card. It's pretty simple. For this card, since it doesn't have those pinks and purples, I'm going to be using the Poppy Parade, and I'm going to be using Old Olive and Coastal Cabana when I create the top part of this when we're together next week. So that's that card. And then the fancy piece that you got, you probably wondered, what the heck was that? It actually looks like, let me tie this up so you get the big look. It is a carrier for all of these beautiful cards. I just thought it would be so much fun to create a beautiful carry piece that could be opened and gifted to someone. And so actually inside here are all 9 of the cards that were created by the kit, and they all have their own little envelope to stash them inside. And we're going to put this together today, right now. So just to share with you, they all have an envelope, and I think you can see this as I pull it out. Linda, Vicky, and Joanne have actually made this in a smaller version. I wanted to be able to make one that had the envelopes with the cards. So it really did make a very nice folio for a gift. So let's make one of these right now. The first thing you got is you got 8 envelopes. And they all actually, let's see, sorry about that. Oh, I put them in there. Okay. So they all have a flap, and you're going to cut the flap off, and then you're going to glue them closed. So your envelopes all, they started out like this, and they fold like this, and they fold up just like that. You're going to put a little bit of glue on each of those flaps, the side flaps. You're going to hold that bottom flap down, and then where this flap would normally fold over like this, you're going to cut that piece off. So you can use your trimmer or you can use your scissors. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're really not going to see it. You're just going to use it as a holder. So there you go. That's how you want all of your envelopes to look. So you fold the flaps in, you put some glue on the side flaps, you fold the bottom flap up, and you cut off the top flap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Again, I didn't glue this one, so let's show you again. You're going to put some glue on your outside flaps, and you're going to hold it in, and it doesn't matter. You'll see these are on the outside. This, I folded them inside. It doesn't matter one way or the other because you're not going to see them. You're just using them as a holder. Then you've got these extra pieces that you can put in your stash and use at a later time. And then you have a piece of paper that, and everybody has different. So you have a piece of paper that's already scored, and you're just going to fold on the score lines. So for this one, I folded it on the score lines so that you have a little spine, and then you have 2 little flaps. You're actually going to glue those flaps flat. So just put some glue on the flap, press it down, turn it over, put some glue on the flap, and press it over. Then you're going to open this out, and then you're going to take some of your Blackberry Bliss ribbon, or you're going to use your own. Now, I was able to make this folio, and I was able to cover my hope box all the way around using half and half. So about half and half of that roll that's in your kit will work. In this case, I am using a piece of ribbon that is probably about let's see, this would be 1632, probably 36 inches, and I found the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just eyeball what I think is the middle of my folio, and I'm going to press it down there, and then I'm going to just make a line of glue out to this side and lay it down, hold it. You could also use some of the Terran tape. That works really well for this. You just want to hold it in place. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it to be around the middle point. Okay? So that's the inside. And this is going to be your outside. So here you go. And now we're ready to glue in our envelopes. So we're going to take each of our envelopes, and your envelopes are made with all different kinds of DSP. They're just leftover pieces that I've had. They're not going to show, so don't worry about it. It doesn't matter which side you're focusing on. The first one, you're going to put glue all over the back. You're going to take the bottom edge and you're going to lay it in the middle of your folio, right where that fold, where that spine is. All right. So then the next one you're going to do is you're going to put glue all over the front of that card, because you don't want to glue on the inside of the card. And you're going to take, and on that top, you're going to glue the bottom of the next envelope. And so you're simply just layering these envelopes on top of each other, putting glue on the front of each of the envelopes, and be generous, but don't be goopy. And then you're going to take your next envelope and lay it right on top. So again, perfection is not necessary, but it is nice to be close. So don't get too stressed about it. So you're just simply layering these up just like you would if you were making some kind of fancy cake. Putting a little bit of frosting in between each layer. You're putting a little bit of glue, and you're making sure that the glue is not oozing out into the envelopes themselves, because then the envelopes won't open and you won't be able to put the cards inside. So there you go. And let's see, I have a few more to do. So again, I gave you random pieces of DSP. They're old pieces. They're not going to show, so don't worry which is the front or the back. Just make sure that you put glue on the front of each envelope and you glue the back of the next envelope on them. So, oops, I almost did it wrong. So, okay, on the top of the envelope. And when Joanne saw one of these, she wanted to learn how to make one. So I thought, well, I'm just going to have you all make one so that you could gift your cards, or you can make new cards, or you could make some of the cards alternatives that I showed you and fill it up. So this actually holds 8 cards technically, but I got 9 cards in it. And so you can see I even was a little bit, I made one a little bit too big, and that's okay. Okay, and so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put glue all over that top layer of your frosted envelope cake. And then you're going to take the back side and you're going to match up the edges. Don't worry about the back. And you're going to just press it. So turn it over and press it. And then you have a folio with 8 pockets, and you're ready to put your cards right in there. So you could take the cards that you make along with their envelopes and put them right inside each of the envelopes and fill it. So you can leave it plain like this, but what I did is I decorated my front. And I decorated my front by adding a piece of granny apple green, and then I added a piece of white cardstock, and you can measure them any way you want. But what I did is I just measured right across here, and then I took off a 1/2 inch and glued that on, and then I did the same thing and just took off a 1/2 inch and glued on the white piece. So I will be showing you that when we get together on Friday. So then I took the big piece that they had, Always Hope, because you never know what tomorrow will bring, and I cut it apart, bumped it up on dimensionals. I added some of the butterflies from the kit. I added some gems, and there you go. So, fun project. See you on Friday.